All right. Graphing linear functions. Okay, let's see. So linear functions can be written in standard form, ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are real numbers, but a and b are both non-zero. Okay. Solutions to equations in this form can be written as ordered pairs. They can also be represented on a graph in the rectangular coordinate system. You have a vertical and a horizontal axis. So your horizontal axis is the x-axis, and vertical axis is the y-axis there. And that divides your plane into 4 quadrants. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We use Roman numerals to mark those. So there's quadrant 1 right there where the x and the y are both positive. And then you go around counterclockwise to quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So an ordered pair this is what it means by an ordered pair. You have parentheses, x value, comma, y value. So the origin, so whenever it's 0, 0, that is known as the origin. Okay. So an ordered pair satisfies an equation when 2 values substituted into the equation make it a true statement. This also means that that point is located on the graph. So if an ordered pair is a solution, that's the same thing as saying you can say that it's a point on the graph of the equation. So the graph of an equation is the set of all the points of all the ordered pairs that do satisfy that equation. So it's a linear equation, it's going to be a straight line. So the x-intercept is the point the graph intercepts the x-axis. So it's also the same point where y is equal to 0, and then the y-intercept is the point where it crosses the y-axis, and it's a point where x is equal to 0. So y equals 0 is the x-axis, x equals 0 is the y-axis. All right, complete for 3x minus 4y equals 12, then plot the ordered pairs and graph the line. Okay, so it's giving you x is 0, and they want you to plug that in and calculate the y value. I usually like to do this with what I call an x and y table. It's the same thing. Usually when I do graphs, a lot of times I like to use an x-y table. So that first point is giving you an x value of 0. The second point is giving you a y value of 0. And the third point is giving you a y value of -2. And then it wants you to complete the other values by plugging them in. All right, so if we plug in 0 for x, so that would be 3 times 0 minus 4y equals -12, or I don't know why I said negative, equals 12. So 3 times 0 is 0, so that's just -4y equals 12, and then divide both sides by -4. So that'll give you y equals -3. So when x is 0, y equals -3. So 0, -3 is going to be one of the points on the graph. So we go ahead and plot that. 0, -3. So there you go. So it's on the y-axis at -3. All right, and then next we have when y is equal to 0, we want to calculate the x value. So 3x minus 4 times 0 equals 12. So that would just be 3x equals 12, and then just divide both sides by 3. So x equals 4. So when y is 0, x is 4. So in other words, 4, 0 is a point on the graph. And so that's going to be at 4 on the x-axis. And then the last one they want us to do is when y is -2. We want to solve for x. So 3 times, or yeah, that'd be 3x minus 4 times -2 equals 12. So 3x plus 8 equals 12. Subtract 8 from both sides. So 3x equals 4. So x equals 4/3. Or in other words, 1 1/3. All right, so the point 1 1/3, comma, -2 is the point on the graph. So let me go ahead and plot that. So it won't be exact, but we'll just do as best we can. Okay. All right, so there are 3 of the points on the graph. So we can go ahead and just draw the line that goes through all of those points. All right, it says find the intercepts and graph the equations. So that basically means we're going to plug in 0 for each of the variables and solve for the other one. So if we plug in 0 for x, that'll be 2 times 0 minus 4y equals -8. So -4y equals -8. Divide both sides by -4, so y equals 2. So that's the y-intercept. Zero, 2. There. And then we'll plug in 0 for y, so 2x plus 4, sorry, minus 4, doesn't matter, but minus 4 times 0 equals -8. So 2x equals -8. Divide both sides by 2, so x equals -4. So that's your x-intercept is -4, 0. Okay. So there's that. All right, so y plus 4 equals 0. So there's no x in there. So that means that, it basically means it's going to be a horizontal line. If we subtract 4 from both sides, it gives us y equals -4. So that's just going to be a horizontal line at -4. So the y-intercept is -4, and there is no x-intercept. And then number 4, -3x equals 6. So that one has no y, which basically tells us that it is a vertical line. So if we divide both sides by -3, that gives us x equals -2. So it's a vertical line at -2. So it has no y-intercept, but it has the x-intercept at -2. Okay. Same thing, find the intercept and graph the equation. So let's plug in 0 for x. 3 times 0 minus y equals 0. So -y equals 0. So y equals 0. So that your y-intercept would be 0, which means your x-intercept is also 0. So that means you need to find another point to be able to make the line. So you can just pick any number and just plug it in, find another point. So let's just plug in like 1 for y, or no, that's not a good one. Let's do 3. Let's plug in 3 for y. So 3x minus 3 equals 0. So add 3 to both sides. 3x equals 3, divide both sides by 3, so x equals 1. So when y is 3, x is 1. So if we had a little xy table here, we could do so x is 1, y is 3. And we already also had 0, 0. Okay. So 1, 3. All right. So then we can draw the line. All right, number 6. All right, so find the intercept. So we have to plug in 0 for x. So if we plug in 0 for x, that's going to give us y is equal to 5. That's our y-intercept. And for the x-intercept, we would have to plug in 0 for y. So that would be 0 equals 1/2 x minus 5. So I would just multiply everything by 2. So that would be 0 equals x minus 10. And then add 10 to both sides, so 10 equals x. So that's your x-intercept. And 0. All right. I guess we could just scale this so that way it's easier to plot that, because I don't think we have room for 10 the way it's written. If we do, let's say, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like that, yeah, that'll work. All right, so then the y-intercept is at 5, and the x-intercept is at 10. All right, and then number 7, x minus y equals 4. All right, so plug in 0 for x, so 0 minus y equals 4. So negative y equals 4, which means y equals negative 4. So your y-intercept is 0, negative 4. And then plug 0 in for y. So x minus 0 equals 4. So x equals 4. So your x-intercept is 4, 0. Then we'll do the line. All right. Number 8 says decide whether 4, 2 is a solution to 2x minus y equals 6. All right, so we need to plug in 4 in place of x and 2 in place of y. So 2 times 4 minus 2 equals 6. So 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. So yes, that is a solution. And then number 9, decide whether 5, 2 is a solution to 5x minus 3y equals 15. So we need to plug 5 in for x and 2 in for y. So 5 times 5 minus 3 times 2 equals 15. So that's 25 minus 6 equals 15. So 25 minus 6 is 19, and 19 does not equal 15. So no, that's not a solution. All right, number 10, suppose it costs a flat fee of $20 plus $5 per day to rent a pressure washer. Therefore, the cost Y in dollars to rent the washer for X days is given by Y equals 5x plus 5x plus 20. When the washer is rented for 5 days, the cost is $45. Express this as an ordered pair. Okay, so X is a number of days, and then the cost is the Y value. So then the ordered pair would be 5, 45. And interpret what the point 6, 50 represents. Well, that represents that when the washer is rented for 6 days, it costs $50. All right. Well, that's all I've got. Remember, y'all have a bunch of homework that's due on the 22nd.